Boatbuilding News, the podcast. Let's do it. Welcome to Boatbuilding News, the podcast, a series of engaging interviews with key individuals from within the marine industry. I'm excited. This is going to be epic. I am beyond excited to welcome Jonny Dodge as a guest, a British entrepreneur who seriously has no limits at all in his achievements and experiences. Thanks, Jonny, for coming on the show, especially when anyone that even slightly follows you on social media can see that you've got an absolutely crazy schedule.
Holly, well, it's great to be here. Thank you. Appreciate it. And looking forward to chatting.
Yeah, definitely. So if you can, I mean, this is quite a broad question, and I know that you're involved in so many things, but if you can, just briefly tell us, who is Jonny Dodge and a little bit about the companies that you're involved in? Because I know there's such a wide range of them, isn't there?
Who is Jonny Dodge? That's a good question. Right. So, a few businesses, but all around the world of luxury, entertainment and experiences. So a lot of people know me for Formula One, which is kind of where I cut my teeth in a lot of the world I'm in now. And we also have a jet business, Your Sky, that focuses mainly on large aircraft charter and brokerage. We have Space Experiences, which is our space travel company, and already sent a couple of clients up to space not too long ago. And then we have GPM, which is our corporate incentive company, GP Management, which runs the events around Formula One. And of course, my baby right now, MyOcean, which is our yacht charter, management, sales, build, all the fun stuff around boats.
Cool. So you say my baby, does that mean it's your favorite company? Are you allowed to have favorites?
I don't know. Am I allowed to have favorites as long as the staff aren't listening? No, this is my baby right now. It's so exciting. We're doing record-breaking numbers, and we're one of the fastest growing businesses in the industry. And it's just everything about what we've been doing has been so super exciting, and the amount of press we've been getting. And I didn't know we were that interesting, but apparently we're doing some fun stuff. So I'm here for it.
Oh, awesome. So at the beginning of MyOcean, how did that start? Tell us how it was born.
I mean, I could tell you about how my world of yachting and from a young age, but
because I have been reading. It started at a really young age, didn't it?
Well, I mean, I've always been around boats and the water. That's my passion. And my father had a furniture company that fitted out super yachts, and used to supply furniture for companies like Linley, which I'm sure many people will know. And then we fitted out boats like Focia, Brave Goose, Leander, the Prince Abdulaziz, which at the time I think was the largest yacht in the world. So
wow. I knew that. Then.
Yeah, so I knew that world well. And so as a kid, when I didn't know what I wanted to do and was helping out with my dad, I was running around the Monaco Yacht Show at his stand. And I had a passion for being on these big boats and enjoying that world, I think. And that led on to a world of luxury and everything else that I did in between, from owning nightclubs and racing in supercars on the Gumball Rally. But it kind of then led to this world of Formula One, which of course leads to super yachts in Monaco, leads to super yachts at Abu Dhabi Formula One. So I ultimately became a customer first. I was chartering boats for races, and got to understand all of that world very in depth at that point too. And I mean, having had Sunseekers all our lives and kind of being around that world of boating, obviously on a lot smaller scale, but it really then led into that. So what was the real beginning of that? Of course, GP Management would always help clients with yacht charters and getting boats, but lockdown came and the world changed. And I think that...
didn't it just?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, we were, or just over 2 years ago, the world was a slightly different place. And so we had no F1 races and not a lot of business because people weren't doing events. And I'd escaped to the south of France during lockdown and spent my lockdown there. And
wow.
The only area of the business where we could do things was people wanted to take boats. The only place they could be. They couldn't be at a restaurant. They couldn't be in hotels and with other people. They wanted to be on their own in a private location. So
I suppose
Oh,
that's self isolation at its best, isn't it? You know.
absolutely. Who wouldn't want to be stuck on a super yacht?
Yeah.
So
Well, the
I
rest of
really
the world
fair
were
to see people stuck
homeschooling.
in the Maldives during the lockdown that I can't name, but yeah, there's some fun stories. So yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you
Oh
want
my
to be on a
goodness, I
boat? What
bet.
a perfect way to isolate, feel safe, comfortable, and everything that that entails, and to still enjoy the opportunity to get out on the water. So that our business grew from finding this little 50-foot azimut in Bellier, going down, meeting the captain, and persuading him to let us rent the boat out and for €3,000 a day, to then chartering boats at 3 million a week. So yeah, it's been an interesting 2 years for sure.
So it was a lockdown inspiration then.
I mean, that's what definitely drove the project forward. I think that we'd always had a passion to go into this area, and we were always doing it
Yeah,
as
it sounds like it was something you were always destined to do.
very much. And yeah, it's been exciting. At least it's always been in my heart and my passion for sure.
Yeah, so just maybe just sped it up a bit being in lockdown. And I think that with the COVID years, I think that, my opinion of it is there's two types of people, isn't there? There's people that saw COVID and the lockdown restrictions that were imposed on us as an excuse. And then there's people that saw it as an opportunity. And coming out of COVID, it's quite clear, there's two different paths, isn't there? There are people that said, oh, unfortunately, I couldn't do that because of COVID. And there's people that said, okay, we're in COVID. I'm going to pivot my business. I'm going to move it at a different speed. I'm going to move it in a different direction. And it's quite clear to see who came out of it better, really. So it sounds like it was an opportunity for you rather than an excuse, because you could have quite easily probably just chilled out in the south of France for a year or so and not thought business at all.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I think I mean, that's always ingrained in my personality, is to go for the adventure, find the next challenge. But I mean, I experienced it, of course, looking at my staff and seeing people that didn't really leave their lounge for a year because they were stuck at home. And yeah, it's not, you don't always get presented the opportunities, but then you have to make them yourself too. So, I mean, I don't mind saying that I
Absolutely.
was struggling during lockdown. Like I had businesses that were based around events and hospitality. Like, it wasn't an easy time, and I didn't want to lay off staff.
No,
I didn't want to
I
do
agree.
anything, and in fact, we didn't. We didn't lay off anyone, and we've only gone on to greater strength since
Wow.
with all of my businesses. So, yeah, I'm really, what a great opportunity, and how lucky I am, and that also created the freedom to travel and to do more. So now my businesses are around the world in different offices, and I flow between them and enjoy that lifestyle, which is incredible.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I can see, I mean, even before this recorded chat, I already know from your personality that you're not phased by challenges and you embrace them. But you don't get where you are without, coming across challenges that keep you up at night. You're pushing boundaries. So, what challenges are you facing right now?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's huge challenges in terms of coming into an industry that's such a legacy industry in the yachting world. Um, and yeah, a lot of the press has been the disruptors, but I'm equally, we're here to play the game right, and we're not, we're doing it in the right way, I hope. Our goal is to obviously work with everyone, but to help change the industry, to help evolve it. I think they always say that the most impactful people in the industry are people who've never been in it before. That means that you don't come in with the old stereotypes of things that can't happen.
Mm,
So we're in here to make those changes and to drive things forward. And I think that we're doing a lot of innovative stuff right now. So yeah, is it challenging when we came in and said, look, we'll only operate on instant messaging, WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, like,
I am
and
absolutely here for that completely. So, does that mean that you rarely email or anything like that?
yeah, very rarely email. And for us,
I
it,
love
it,
this.
it's instant messaging first, so Telegram or
Hmm.
WhatsApp first. Every broker, CA, client that we work with, we all have WhatsApp groups with them. That's how the whole company operates. On a backbone of that then integrates into our CRM systems and other systems. But the technology and the way that we've then driven that is so fundamental. It's the speed of response. It's being able to
Yeah.
get back to the customer. Just the old history of writing emails just doesn't work. But the fact that we've structured our business around that, so we've chosen not to deal with customers who don't want to work on instant messaging. But to date, we haven't found one.
So oh right, I was going to say, does that raise a few eyebrows, because it's not how people are used to doing things. But you're absolutely right. Why do we stay with what we're used to?
You set the bar out at the beginning. We went to several law firms when we first started, and we said, look, we're only going to deal with you on WhatsApp. You have to be happy with that. A lot of them said, look, we need to go to the board to see if there's compliance and risk issues around this. I was like, sure, okay, but we're going to set this out from the beginning. And we set that out with Bargate Murray, and we have an amazing relationship with them, and hourly WhatsApps back and forth every day. So, and it proved that we get quicker response times. Things work. So we're trying to do things differently. Crypto's been talked about in the industry for a while, but we were born from a world of crypto. I'm invested into a crypto hedge fund, and have kind of supported early stage startups in crypto coins from the very beginning, so understand it very well. So people say they take crypto, and the reality is that we understand it. We were driven from the ground up. We're not outsourcing this to someone that's going to charge you a 5% fee to broker the deal. We're charging you nothing. We're the only broker I know of that is going to charge you zero fees on crypto. So, and that's just because of the volume we can achieve and the relationships we have. So there are areas where we're changing what the norm is, and but I hope it's for the better, and I hope it's for the whole industry.
Yeah, I mean, so do you feel like you're driving that change, or do you feel like you're responding to the changing clientele? Are they driving the change and you're responding to it, or is it something that you're driving with regards to trading in crypto?
I think that it's a bit of both. Obviously, there's been the request for it, and at the early days, you set it up, and no one comes to you, and no one asks you. I mean, we've been taking crypto and GP management for years. When I just took it into my own wallet, and then we worked out how we would get it into the company, and had to work it out our own ways. Many years back, before people really knew how to deal with it, or there was any kind of processes that would support this kind of format. But so that's how it started. Then our companies invested into crypto themselves, and that kind of grew. So when we got to a point where, customers came to us and were like, look, we need to transact in crypto. But it's all very well someone saying, I need to transact 100 grand in crypto. But when people need to start saying, I need to transact 10, 20, 30 million, then we needed to start understanding how this works on scale. And we've achieved it.
Obviously making it secure.
I mean, we've done way more than that in crypto this year, so we know what we're doing.
Well, I mean, to me, it just seems highly daunting, but it is also the way the world's going. Do you think that's due to the age of your clients, or is that due to the wealth of your clients? What's causing this?
I mean, I think there's a whole new wealth of people generally coming into the market. Things have changed more in luxury consumers in the last few years than they have in decades. We look at some of those great statistics that we have, and I mean, one of the reasons I love Dubai, and I was just with the government yesterday, kind of supporting them on how they're going to make this a winter destination here, and how we can kind of take some people for the Caribbean and bring them here. But it's really about how we make those big changes, and I think there's a huge opportunity for how we can kind of build on that. But what we're really seeing is young customers that want to come into the market. I think that the age of the customer has been dropped by 10 years in the last couple of years, because crypto wealth has just rocketed up, and we've met a lot of young crypto guys that don't know how to spend their money, don't know what to do, don't understand how it works. And we have crypto clients that they're buying boats before they buy houses. So the first thing that when you come to a finance company, or one, how do you finance if someone who's got crypto? Two, what assets do they have? And it's like, I don't know, he's got 47 supercars, but he doesn't own a house. So it's all this, people are choosing to be more nomadic. They're choosing a different way of living. So everything is changing about how high net worth consumers live, from their age to their ideas. And that means that the boats are changing that we need to build. What that looks like. People are spending more time on their boats. When we've done charters, I mean, we did a charter for over a month on Flying Foxes. Everyone knows, I'm sure, but like we could set up trading floors on there. People could live and work on boats and spend much of their time there. And when we're building boats, we're looking at kind of bigger offices, bigger setups, like ability to travel further and do more things. So there's definitely a huge change in the consumer for sure.
Sure. So what I mean, when I think about somebody that owns a super yacht, you're absolutely right. I mean, traditionally, I think of somebody that's already got, all the houses they dream of in all the locations and holidays on their yacht. But what you're essentially saying is that there seems to be a shift and people are spending so much time on their yachts, it's becoming almost their main residence, and that they're working and, and commuting around the world on their yacht as opposed to just holidaying and chilling out.
Well, I think it's not just me saying that. I think that let's look at the true industry data, and obviously the industry leaders at that is Airbnb. They see more people move around the world than any other business, and they've been
Yeah.
saying for some time now people aren't going on holidays anymore. They're going seasonally to destinations. So Airbnb is now trying to change what it's doing to support people who want to seasonally stay in destinations. Where do I want to be personally? Like for me, like I'm spending my summer in the south of France, just outside Monaco. Like I have the villa there, and well, that was the plan. I ended up hopping around all summer, but I'm exhausted now. And then then winters in Dubai, but then that's been split again. I spent 3 months in the Caribbean on boats earlier this year, which was amazing fun, of course. But from
Yeah.
St. Bart's all the way down to Barbados and back, and so I think that people are going to be far more nomadic. I'm actually building
Mm.
a villa resort in Bali now, like, and people have understood there. When I went there, it's totally changed. People like the co-working spaces in Bali. It's like, so the point is that yes, everyone is going to choose to be nomadic. That question of where do you live is going to change.
Mm.
It's where do you enjoy spending your time? The flexibility and freedom we've had that has changed because of what's happened over the last few years is really going to change how everything works. I recently did an
Mm.
article with superyachts.com, and the writer titled it "Luxury Nomads," and I felt that that's very apt. Is there is a world of these kind of yeah, digital nomads, but the luxury nomads, that's maybe the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when you relate, I mean, that's probably also, it was probably already always heading in that direction. But with COVID and the realization, even of the most traditional companies, that you can be effective working when you're not physically in an office and you are remote, it just, the amount of talent that people can then actually bring into their business because they're not tied to people that are just commutable to their actual office location and things like that. It's probably sped that sort of notion up a little bit, I think.
Oh, massively. I mean, it has done for us. And again, I don't mind admitting that a few years ago, when employees came to me and said, "Can we have 1 day a month where we work from home?" My response, unfortunately, was absolutely no. I don't trust that you'll do any work. I don't think it will happen. What do I do now? I mean, now we have our offices, but people maybe go into them a couple of times a week. Like that's the
Yeah.
way the business is now. We all like that freedom of working from home. I have people based in Monaco, Dubai, Cyprus, London. The flexibility to live and travel, like, and be where they want, it helps us more. Like, it's great that, like, would I have so early on set up an office in Monaco? Maybe not, but to have someone that already lives there who then comes to Dubai, what a flexible and amazing opportunity! Like, and the
Yeah.
same with having staff that
And you've
want
got the
to.
whole world to choose from then with talent.
Exactly, and it's made it such a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've just said to my team, look, if you want to live in Monaco, London, or Dubai, like, I'm totally easy with that. Wherever you want to be, because it helps our businesses for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even, at a really local level, when I think about just my summer just gone. So I'm here in the UK, and I actually spent quite a chunk of it down in the southwest in Cornwall. Um, officially, yeah, it looked a bit like a holiday, but I mean, I was always working. I was working on the move. I do a lot on social media. I don't need to be sat at a desk to do that. I was seeing clients. I was, keeping up with the industry. And you're right, I was as effective as I would have been had I have been in a static office, sat in front of a laptop, like the traditional sense of working. So absolutely, I'm 100% behind all of that for sure. So, I mean, this might be a really hard question, actually, because I imagine that you've got absolutely, you could talk for hours on this. But do you have just one standout moment, sort of one really proud standout moment where you thought, do you know what, I've really achieved something there?
I mean, there's been so many through the course of the last 2 years. Like
I know.
our first boat sale, of course. And it's my baby. In fact, it's a boat that I knew for 5, 6, 7 years previously that was belonged to a friend of mine, and so we did the deal on both sides, and yeah, and sold it to a client, a boat called Babylon. So a
Oh, right.
37-meter Rodriguez in grey. It looked pretty awesome, like a full kind of bachelor pad interior and like this
I can
Andrew.
see from your smile that you absolutely love that.
Of course, and it was like I was so kindly, like I was great friends with the owner, who happened to own a Formula One team as well. So we did a lot
Yeah.
of business and had a lot of fun together, and so I knew the boat well. And the opportunity then to sell it on to another friend of mine was amazing. So, and something that I could really see both the seller and the buyer. It was their baby, and now the for the buyer, it's become his baby. So like I'm pleased at how that happened and the emotions connected to boats. I think people feel very connected to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was of course always going to be a milestone. And then of course the deal with Flying Fox is something that to spend over a month on that boat and get to enjoy it too. And I mean, I did everything you can imagine on there, from cryotherapy chambers to getting my advanced scuba diving license to, I mean, what an
Wow.
experience. Yeah. So such an
Incredible.
incredible time on the world's biggest charter boat. To just experience that was just incredible. And so, yeah, so I think, of course, those are two iconic moments, but so many more than I can list over the last couple of years. It's just been absolutely nonstop. And then to come back to the Monaco Yacht Show this year, to think that a year ago, kind of, I was there handing out a business card and not many people knew who we were back then. So it's a real
Was
change
that
now.
only a year ago? I feel like we've all known who you were for a long time. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? It's been yeah, it's been a whirlwind. So yeah.
Awesome. So you seem absolutely full of amazing ideas, like crazy ideas that most people, it wouldn't even enter their heads. But do do you have an actual end goal? Do you have something that you wake up in the morning and you're working towards, and when you get there, do you think you'll stop?
I mean, the answer is you never stop. But the question is what's this for? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And people are driven and inspired, but they don't get on board with what you do because you sell boats. They get on board with what you do because why you do it. So
Oh,
yeah.
I agree with this totally.
So the question is why? Why do I do it? And right now, it's very much at the forefront of my mind because I'm actually planning a TED talk on the subject. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so hopefully later this year, I'll do my TED talk, which is talks about what makes people genuinely happy, and to understand what that looks like. And so
Mm.
although I can't give much of the talk away for now, but it's very much about how experiences are the currency of happiness. How do you make yourself happy through what you need to experience? What does that feel like? The end goal in life isn't money; it's happiness. So what does that look like for people? How do you create that? What gets those endorphins going? What do you need? So it's about creating incredible experiences, and things that make people wonder and inspires people. But equally, it can be about changing what you do every day. I mean, the simple things that I talk to people about is changing the way you walk or drive to work. Just those little things that you do just give you a little bit more thought in the day, a little bit more interest and wonder about things. Maybe you'll discover something you haven't seen. Maybe you'll think about something more. So it doesn't need to be about the billionaires of this world. Yes, that's the world I operate in. But I've
Mm.
also seen it from the other side. I've made an effort to do that. shipwreck myself on a desert island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean for 10 days with no food, no water, and no shelter to survive. Money didn't matter there. The guy who could
But
make
the question I need to ask you about that is, why did you do that?
why not? Like, what a totally inspiring situation to be in. To understand the fundamentals of life. Like, I'm in a world of so much money where it's so fascinating to see a world without it. Like, I'm always so intrigued to go, well, this isn't really relevant. You can survive without money. So then what does life look like then? So I managed to make fire, and I was the guy that made fire, and there were six of us that went and did it. And then one of the guys caught fish, and he's the guy that could catch the fish, and we could survive. And that is so inspiring and so powerful, that it really takes away this objective around money. But of course, we want to drive incredible experiences, whatever those may be. So yeah, what is my goal? My goal is to create the world's greatest experiences and help educate people and support them in experiencing their dreams and their passions, and then creating happiness through that. So maybe it's a bigger, wide, more philosophical goal than just trying to sell a boat, but that's genuinely my vision and why I set up these companies.
Wow, that's quite an incredible answer, a very powerful answer. Let's talk about space. So that is a question that I think probably out of all the guests I've interviewed and all the guests I've got lined up you're probably the only person I'm going to ask this to. But tell us about, there's plans for space travel, isn't there, in your businesses? Tell us about that.
Well, I think that's the first thing that I need to correct. There isn't plans for space travel. We're already doing space, and I think that people don't even
Wow.
understand that. So yeah, 2 months ago we sent 2 clients into space. I set up space experiences 4 years ago. I'm lucky enough to have some great partners and advisors along the way. So one of my closest friends founded Virgin Galactic with Richard Branson, a guy called Alex Ty. So I was there from the forefront of that. I'm lucky enough to have spent a lot of time with Richard Branson on Necker. I was just there a couple of months ago, in fact.
Well, if there's anyone to advise you in that space, it's him, isn't it? It's Richard
course.
Branson. You don't get anyone bigger, do you?
Well, you do actually, and unfortunately, I was just emailing him today, actually, Elon Musk, and I was lucky enough to meet Elon a while back and talk to him about some crazy ideas, and he said yes, madly. So yeah, there's been some, and then obviously we now work with Jeff Bezos' company Blue Origin, where we sent 2 clients into space just a few months back. So yeah, space is very much. I've been doing my astronaut training. I'm signed up for Galactic. I've gone in 0G and weightlessness and experienced all of those things. So it's
Wow.
incredible, and I think that why won't your space station be your new super yacht of the stars? Like, what an incredible vision to be able to see. I was with Blue Origin at their factory where they're building Orbital Reef, which will be their own space station. So the idea that we can go on holiday in space to the extent where that super yacht will now be your space rocket. I mean, what a vision that is going to come to reality in not many years' time. Like, to really, like, you've got to really remember that it's coming quick. Like, people are regularly going into space right now for tourism. Every month people are going.
Mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing.
So the possibilities of that are huge. So yes, people are like, oh, space experiences, that's going to be a nice fun company. I'm like, the industry of space is billions of dollars, and it's the future. So it's super exciting.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I was literally about to say the sky's the limit, but that's the point, isn't it? It's actually not the limit. There is no limit, is there? You are somebody that just doesn't ever see a limit in what you can achieve, in what you can experience. It's just crazy. So the question of when I say, what's the end goal, you probably don't even visualize an end goal because you'd be limiting yourself, and that that's not what you do, is it?
I guess not. It's always about finding the next greater thing. And every time someone comes up with an idea in the office, I'm like, but what if you had to 10x that? Like, what if someone's going, oh, well, we need to do £1 million in this department this year? I'm like, yeah, but what if you had to do 10 million? Like, and then they're like, well, we'd have to change everything. I'm like, go change everything, and then maybe we'll come back and you'll hit 2 million. Great, like, at least we've done it, and you've understood what steps you need to take to get there. So it's just about pushing it a
I am
little bit further.
I'm taking that mentality and those phrases into my next business meeting.
I've
The
been so
people that work for me
lucky
are going to
to be
be,
mentored by billionaires along the way and have them as business
yeah.
partners, and I can only be so grateful for that. So that's what's inspired me from a young age. And I had a guy called Tony Fernandez who, if people don't know, he's owns AirAsia, one of the world's fastest growing airlines, QPR football team. He owned Caterham Formula One team, and he really inspired me. We owned a nightclub together in London when I was a lot younger, just finishing uni. So it's around,
Wow.
and even from that young age, just getting out of uni, I was like, well, if he can own a Formula One team, why can't I? Like, it was just, if he can own an airline, why can't I? I mean, I set one
Oh,
up,
I
it
love
failed,
it.
but that's another story for another day. But yeah, there's been some fun adventures along the way.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? You are having fun. I know it's incredibly hard work, but that's made a hell of a lot easier when you enjoy what you do. It doesn't matter what role you're doing, what job you're doing, in which industry. If you're having fun along the way, then the work comes easy, doesn't it? Really.
Oh, of course. And I mean, even still today, I find new fun things to do. And I always say to people, like, it's follow your passion and don't follow the money. Like, that will come. Like, we started like an idea with a couple of friends, like, well, in fact, I was like, I'll build a villa in Bali. And then I asked some friends, like, do you want to build a villa in Bali? And they were like, yeah, sure. And then it was like, well, maybe if we get a bigger plot of land, it's easier to find the plot and might be cheaper. And that's turned into an entire resort. I'm now building a Bali, which will actually then will maintain and manage and build, but we'll also bring together entrepreneurs and bring in business leaders and create a community of visionary people. So every time I get the opportunity to do something, it's business and fun, but I just love connecting people. My passion is
Yeah.
connecting people, and so many people have, through our experiences, made friendships, made businesses, made marriages, whatever it might be. So
Oh, really?
I'm
Oh,
so
amazing.
lucky to be able to facilitate that, and I know that all comes back in return. So I love it.
Awesome, awesome. So, coming up to my favourite part of the show, which is made especially good because you also had a bit of an admission beforehand that you didn't read the guest guide. So, this is going to be dumped on you quite off the cuff, isn't it, Johnny? But
Yeah.
you'll probably understand the concept. You've been to uni, so you'll absolutely understand the concept. A little round of would you rather.
Okay.
Okay, so would you rather, we'll start quite safe. Would you rather trekking in Antarctica or the Amazon jungle?
Antarctica. I want to go back so much. I love it.
Oh, why? I thought you'd say Amazon.
I'm planning I'm planning a trip back there to do a world record attempt for the fastest crossing of Antarctica, and it's like going to another planet. That place, it's just so special. It's the only place on Earth that you'll go that feels like another planet. And if you ever want to
Oh,
try a
really?
boat down there, I'd recommend it. And I know a guy that might be able to do
Sounds good. I'm there. Okay.
it.
Would you? I think I probably know the answer, but it's on here, so I'm going to say it anyway. Would you rather a life-changing experience or a life-changing amount of money?
Life-changing experiences. That's
It's
what life's
it's all we've
about.
spoken about, isn't it? So that's an easy one for you. Okay. Would you rather Monaco Yacht Show or the Monaco Grand Prix?
Oh, tough one. My
Yeah, I think it
passion's
might be.
going to the boats, so it's got to be Monaco Yacht Show. I'm excited.
You've got to think who you're talking to as well, so you had to answer that really.
My accent
I would
like
have
Greek
just hung
changing,
up if you.
right?
Yeah, I might have just hung up. It would have just gone boo. Okay, I've seen that you've been described as both of these things. So, would you rather be described as the number one super yacht influencer or the disruptor?
I mean, influencers with social media. Do you make an influence on people and make an impact? I guess I'm a disruptor, but I like doing that, but in a good way. Don't
Yeah,
think I'm
disrupting things for the better.
exactly. There you go. I'm the disruptor.
Awesome, great. Actually, I think I was quite kind to you with that round.
You were totally.
Yeah, I was. Okay, and the last question that we ask every single guest: what one quote do you strive to live by, and that really, really inspires you?
I mean, it's simple, but dream bigger. Always dream bigger. There's always a bigger dream. There's always a bigger goal. Go for it.
Awesome. That's such a positive way to end the show. Well, thanks for finding the time. I mean, I can't think of a busier time for you. So really, really appreciate you coming and talking to me today, Jonny. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I've loved chatting, Holly. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, then it would be awesome if you could leave a rating or a review. Don't forget to subscribe so you can listen to us again. See you soon.